just wrapped up X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 5, and I want to talk about it. So spoilers are ahead if you haven't seen it. Come back once you do and give me your thoughts. But this one was a Wolverine-centric episode, as it was teased to us at the end of last week's episode, where Wolverine, Black Widow, and Captain America gave us that little homage to the Uncanny X-Men cover. And he states he's going to get a whole team together. Now, we knew there was a title called Weapon X Lies and DVDs, which was our main inclusion to kind of give us a throwback to that Weapon X squad, etc. So Sabretooth was and squad were pretty heavily hinted. Well, that's who we got. The episode jumps right into what happened, or what he was referring to, and not in a really good way. So I'm going to go ahead and preface this by saying that the episode was good and fun, but it definitely missed a few marks and was, all things considered, the weakest episode so far of the show. And that's not saying, I mean, that's not a bad thing. I mean, you can't win them all, right? There's bound to be one that was going to be bad. But it's not even bad. It's just the weakest. It's the weakest. And I say it because we jump right into the story, like dead ass right into it. And it just feels a little off because we've got this group of Weapon X subjects, including Garrison Kane, Weapon X, Maverick, Sabretooth, and Lady Deathstrike. Lady Deathstrike and Sabretooth, last we saw them, had major grudges against Logan. We've also got Morph and Logan on said mission. But they had major issues. Major issues. And then without actually really covering Logan approaching them with whatever this mission was going to be, like that, I felt just off. It just felt off. It didn't have to be a prolonged section, but I feel like if they would have just done some jump cuts for each one of them and figure out why they're so nonchalant in the same plane going on this mission, like it's trippy. Again, it's kind of an homage to the Weapon X episode in, I think, season 2 or 3 of the original series, but with the pacing and storytelling that we've had before, it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't talk about it at all and just jump into it. But aside from that, cool story. We've got the team going into the Weapon X facility under the impression that Wolverine's told them that they are up to no good, up to no experiments, and they're there to stop it because they don't want anybody else going through it. Well, turns out that's a lie. We'll get to that in a minute. Because what's been happening here actually is there have been some experimentations going on. Dr. Cornelius has been experimenting with the Brood. Yes, that's right. Those aliens knockoffs are there. But what's crazy is that the show pulls a Deadpool 2 movie reference with an immediate elimination of Garrison Kane. They crash and he's dead, like right on the spot, which sucks because I wish we would have had a little bit more time with him. He was off character too. He was very cheesy and campy. I almost feel like maybe they were thinking about putting Deadpool there instead and got denied, and they filled it in with Garrison. Again, his dialogue and his demeanor was just not what I'm used to in the comics either. He's a fun dude, but really more laid back on that in the comics initially, and then he becomes just a prick. So he's gone, and then we've got this. Essentially, the episode is a great episode filled with a lot of cameos, Easter eggs, but specifically, it is a mashup of Aliens and The Thing in an X-Men cartoon. Like that, there's so many elements from Aliens and so many elements from The Thing. I love that we got to see Omega Red really get down. That was one of my favorite seasons, Omega Red, just him and Wolverine getting down. Sabretooth and Wolverine having a little bit of a fight. I want more of that, more touch. I really would love that explored. There was a Deadpool cameo via Morph, which we saw in the trailer. Great action sequences again. Rest of the episode was fun, a lot of fun. Really interesting seeing the dynamic between Morph and Wolverine, where Morph is clearly in love with Wolverine. Everybody knows it, but Logan, until the very end, when Logan kind of admits that it's not going to happen, right? But that was also kind of intriguing of the way they keep pulling on that string. I would have liked it more subdued. I just feel like it's too in the face. I don't know why. It feels a little off. But yeah, and again, cool sequences. And the biggest downfall, I think, of the episode is in its main action and that Wolverine actually lies to the team. He gets them there because there are experiments going on, specifically with adamantium being added to soldiers, and he wants his adamantium back because he feels less than with the bone claws. So he gets his adamantium back way too fucking soon, because if that's how he felt, I would have loved to explore more of that, how he's not sufficient with the bone claws, because I know he spent 3 months in the future that we didn't see, but we need to explore that journey with him to see how he's really dealing with the bone claws. I really wish that would have been explored more. It was such a big item in season 1 that it should have lasted longer. Honestly, I feel like even if you're going to do this episode, save it for the very end, second to last episode, something like that. But honestly, I would have loved it in season 3. Let's deal with the bone claws for a while. Let's deal more with the feral side. Like, just having him hunched over wasn't quite feral enough for me. His hair was long for a little bit. Like, we should have really run with that and have him, mixing it up with the whole team under this whole feral status. Like, that's the reason I say it's weak. I just don't think we should have gotten there quite yet, especially with the awesome storytelling that we've had thus far, for it to just kind of, for this to be happening, right? I do like that they touched on a lot of, like, again, cameos and what I'd like to see in the future. We've got a reference to X-23 on those DVDs. We've got Luke Cage, Phantom X, Winter Soldier, all cool thing. One of the biggest highlights was that homage when Wolverine turns into a brood of Uncanny X-Men 234 by Mark Silvestri. It's like dead ass, just perfect homage, and it's glorious. And him as a brood, just plowing through everything, great. Okay, bloody ass episode, probably the most visually gruesome one so far. Fun, and I even like one other little Easter egg is whenever they go back and look at the tapes, they made those tapes look like the original X-Men series. Like, it looked to me just like the original episodes, which was really cool. I can't wait for the other ones. I really do like touching on this. I keep going back and forth with this. And then Sabretooth too. Why can't we get the original actor? His voice was off. It was a good effort. I think I could have probably done better with that one. Come on, Runt, let's get in there and just take them all on. Don't you know? I'm just kidding. For a second, I actually thought it was Steve Blum because it sounded almost like him, and I checked the credits and it wasn't Steve Blum. But that kind of threw me off as well, having a different voice. And his character was just a little, I like the size, the look. I love having Sabretooth back. And I would just want to knock down, fucking drag out fight between him and Wolverine, especially now with the censors being, it's not Fox. Let's fucking bloody it up. We got a touch of it here. Anyways, I can keep going on and on. I'm going to stop myself. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below. And until the next Alertment Nerds, appreciate you.